I wish I got it right from the beginning, but I didn't. I've been taking a hard look at my own practice routine lately, retooling some things here and there, as I do regularly. I think that's a good thing. But this particular round has got me thinking back over my formative years and a few things that I really wish that I would have done differently. Today I've got 5 really important things that I want to talk about that I really wish that I'd learned sooner. Nobody really told me this stuff as I was starting out, and hopefully this will help you whether you're just starting out or if you've been playing a while like I have. My guitar journey really starts with these guys. Yeah, you might not really see the connection between Metallica and the country blues that we play here week in and week out on Tuesday Blues, and frankly, I don't really get it either, but this is what made me want to pick up a guitar. It's what got me into music around 12 years old. I wanted to play everything on this album and then this one. Now, I found tab books for these albums in racks at CD stores. You remember those? And it took a lot of time poring over the pages, figuring out even what tab was and then how to actually do it on my instrument. But with a lot of hard-headed determination, eventually I hacked my way through a lot of the material on these albums. But it took forever. I don't even want to think about the number of hours that I spent practicing just one song even. And I didn't really understand a thing about what I was doing. I wished I'd taken some time right from the beginning to learn some fundamental techniques. Things like playing cleanly versus just fast, or for a small example, just learning exactly how far to bend a note to reach the right pitch. I didn't even realize that this little, arrow with a half fraction really meant anything musically. Turns out it does. I just bent the string until it felt good, but that definitely didn't always sound good. I also developed a huge bad habit of trying to learn all this fast heavy metal stuff at performance tempo, at the album tempo. And you'll hear me saying on these lessons, these Tuesday Blues lessons, a lot. Practice slowly and perfectly, and then over time, progress through the tempos. And that's as much as a reminder to myself as it is a tip for you. And I wish I'd learned to take things slowly and perfectly rather than fast and deal with some slop when I got started. Now, at some point, all of the hours of reading tab and regurgitating tunes, I really got kind of decent at it. I could play, but I couldn't really create much because I didn't understand anything. It was kind of a pain to jam. It was really scary and dang near impossible for me to compose anything. And I wish I'd taken some time to learn the basics of guitar theory. Learn the notes on the fretboard, learn the major scale, the minor pentatonic scale, learn how to play them everywhere, learn basic triads and their inversions up and down the neck, learn how chords are built, what makes them sound the way they do. I should have done this much sooner. Now, all of this, and especially my lack of chord knowledge, seemed painfully obvious when I started diving into acoustic music, thanks to Eric Clapton's Unplugged album. Before Unplugged, the only acoustic stuff I really could play was just these little bits and pieces from Metallica songs. When I heard Hey Hey, I knew I had to get serious about learning that style because it was just so cool and so different from what I had been playing. So I'd practice a song for hours and hours and hours on end and then put it on a shelf for months and months and just move back to what I was comfortable playing. And I wish I'd just practiced that style just a little bit each day, because practicing regularly for short periods of time is much more effective than having these epic marathon long practice sessions once in a blue moon. Now, before we talk about the last thing that really started to bug me a little bit in my development, I want you to know that this is not looking back with any sort of regret or anything. This is really me going through the process of examining my past with the guitar just so that I can understand it and make better decisions and just be a better student of the guitar, be a better guitarist and a better musician. And some of the biggest stuff that I'm learning right now is all about practice. Now, this last lesson is a little hard to admit because for years I did not push myself. Now I guess life kind of got in the way, but I didn't really try to expand my skills, and all I really did was occasionally I'd fire up the electric guitar, play way too loud, and then when my ears couldn't take it anymore, I'd hang it up and I'd call it practicing. But there's really not practicing, not in any sense. Now there's definitely times for noodling around and being creative and bumping into cool new ideas on the guitar, but real practice to me has a goal and milestones really along the way. You know, if you're learning a new song, how many bars did you get? How many bars can you play through perfectly? If you're trying to improve your picking speed, how did your speed this week go up versus last week? You should be practicing along with a metronome, so that's easy to measure. If you learn a new scale, how many times in a row can you play it perfectly? And I've got a lot more to say about all this practice stuff, and we're going to be talking about it in some lessons in the future here on BGI. But I'm a true believer in this, and if I could do this whole thing over again, I would get a little more structured about my practice. Now, this is not about regret. This is about looking back and understanding so that we can know better how to go forward. But I want to hear from you. Is there anything in your guitar journey that you wished you would have learned sooner? Post below, and I'd love to see what you got to say. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, practice smart and play on.